Welcome to the Spirit of a Badass, where we celebrate stories of courage, hope, and resiliency. I'm your host, Alecia Jacobson. Hello, badasses. Welcome to the podcast today. I'm super excited for my guest. Well, I feel like I say that every time. I do say that every time. I'm super excited, mostly because this allows me to talk to some really amazing women. And not only do I get to talk to them, but I get to share their stories and all the good that they're doing in the world with you. So yes, I am super excited for that. Today, I have Natalie Janine with me. With over a decade-long experience, she has become a dynamic and passionate advocate for women's rights. Natalie Janine has dedicated her career to helping corporate women who feel stuck in the grind and how it is impacting their future financial vision for themselves. Through her work, Natalie Janine empowers women to take charge of their financial future and career aspirations. Natalie Janine's expertise lies in closing the gender pay gap by encouraging women to step out of their comfort zone to pursue their desired jobs, encouraging them to live a confident and free life, as well as having a tribe of women supporting them. She is every woman's cheerleader and supports them as they navigate their professional journeys and claim their rightful place at the table. Welcome, Natalie Janine. How are you?
I'm great, Alecia. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I read your bio, but give us a little bit of like behind the scenes of you. Who are you?
Yeah, I am a Christian. I am a daughter, a sister, an auntie, and a dog mom. So I love all those things. Like community is very important to me. So that's why I list those things first, because if I have my community, I can be all the other things that I am, such as a woman entrepreneur, a friend. I'm in grad school, so my community definitely helps me through that. But more than anything, I'm free. Like that means so much to me to be free and able to do the work that I do to help other women be free. So I'm really thankful for that. And getting to this freedom definitely took some trial and error, some pain, some tears. But I am here and I'm so thankful.
Yeah. What does that mean when you say free?
So I have an active podcast called Your Life, Your Rules. And that's freedom to me. The idea that we truly get to decide what we do, how we do it, when we do it, where we do it, because it is our life and it is our rules. And we only get one life. And like you said, be a badass at that one life. And it's yours to do what you want. So to me, that's what freedom is. I have choice. Of my entire day, I have choice. And we all do. And I think sometimes we get stuck because these systems and these things that are placed on us that we believe we have to be a certain way. But when you get out of no, I don't have to be that way. That doesn't align with me. I actually get to show up as me and show out. And I'm going to do that. And that's what I do every day. Like when you see me, the way you see me on social media, I'm goofy, I'm serious, I'm fun, I'm supportive, I'm in your DMs, is the same way you'll see me in public. Like I am me through and through. And that to me is freedom.
I think my favorite thing about your social media, and we've only connected just recently, but my favorite thing is your running photos, and you have the most beautiful lipstick on while you're running, and I am hell yeah, I love it so much. It's so, I don't even know what it just gave me, like these butterfly goosebumps of you are out there just crushing it. And you have this beautiful lipstick on, and it just seems so like fierce. That's the word, fierce.
Thank you. I'm glad you said that and you explained what it gives to you, because I do hot yoga and different workouts. And the compliment I get all the time is my lipstick. Like, how does your lipstick stay on? And oh my God, you wear the best lipstick. And I'm like, thank you, because I love lipstick. But it's also like it's doing something in the universe. So thank you so much for saying that. And it's matte. Matte lipstick stays on for me.
Okay. You're 100% right. It is doing something in the universe, because every time I see it, it brings me joy. I used to have my daughter, she's now 14, but when she was younger, she was probably 4 or 5, she would wear these extreme outfits out. Sometimes it would be princess dresses. Sometimes it was just all different patterns and colors. And we would pass by people in Target, for instance, and they would smile, and the joy that her presence would bring them, you could see it. And that's how I am every time I see you on social media. It just brings me so much joy. So thank you for showing up exactly as you are, because it is out there in the world and changing people's states inside. All right. So how did you get to the space that you're in now with, really working to empower women and this financial success for women, all the things that you do for women? How did you arrive here?
Yeah, I arrived here because of life. I wasn't born in an ideal situation. And my story's not unique where people have family tension and struggling. Like everyone's not born with a silver platter and spoon, And so I wasn't. And I was born to a teenage mother who wasn't ready to be a parent. And because of her trauma, I was placed in foster care. And the first several years of being a foster child, they were just difficult. I never felt like I really had a family. I also was a people pleaser. I didn't understand my voice and the power my voice would have. So I allowed things to happen to me. I lived in shame. And because of that, I ended up getting a criminal record. My biological mother threw me under the bus. And as much as I used to have this anger towards her, I'm actually like, girl, why didn't you stand up for yourself? Like, no is a complete sentence. But when you're in the trenches of shame, doubt, lack of confidence, it's really easy for one to take advantage of you. And so that happened. And then during that time, I was also living in a new foster home and I got adopted. And that's where everything shifted for me. To have someone who truly believes that you're all that in a bag of chips, she thought the world of me. Even when I didn't think the world of myself. Like, she thought I was brilliant. I was amazing, confident, kind. She thought I was all these things that I didn't think. And her pouring that into me again and again and again really helped. But I had always been a girl's girl through and through, like always. So where I live, it's a very popular place for people to take photos. And I see a lot of young girls or like teenagers in their prom dresses or their graduations. I'm like, yes, girl, you look good. I don't know them, but I am that person for other people. And I had that person poured into me. And once I realized, oh, I'm actually a badass. Like, when I step through the room, necks are going to turn. And not that I'm the best. No, there's people better than me. That's not the point. It's just, I know who I am. And when I started to see boundaries, speaking up for myself, and truly doing what I wanted to do, I realized this sense of joy, like this inner peace that I have. And I was like, what is that? I don't get this. Like, where's the drama? Why am I not upset? And I was like, no, stay with this. But it was really uncomfortable because I had people in my community who were the old me, and I'm meeting people who knew me. And I was like, what is this? And so I just kept going towards the new me and who I was becoming. And I was like, I want other women to have this. I want other women to have this. And then I started negotiating. I always negotiate. You're not going to, whatever salary you offer is not good enough because you're not giving me your best. And I would help women with that. And I realized women were not very open and transparent about their salary. And that is how the professional world is designed. Don't share, don't talk about money, don't talk about politics, don't talk about sex, and all these other things. I'm just like, this is a way to keep us in bondage if we don't talk about it. And I'll never forget the first woman I tried to help negotiate because I knew I was getting more than what they're offering me for our raise. And she wouldn't talk about it and she didn't get what she wanted. And I was like, you know what? I want to start a coaching business. And then I eventually got here and help women negotiate. And they come to me for negotiations and I get to help them make more money and the most money they've ever made in their careers. But to see the transformation of the whole woman is so beautiful. Like, I am so thankful I get to do this.
Yeah. The things that you struggled with, the shame and the people pleasing and things like that. You said when you got adopted, everything shifted, but other things had to have happened to help you make that shift. What were some of those internal things that happened? Because that's something that so many women struggle with and struggle to break free from.
The biggest thing for me at that time, because when I got my criminal record, I was 18-ish. Before then, I was working hard to fight generational curses in my family: teenage pregnancy, lack of education, poverty, and going to prison and in and out of jail. Like, I was trying to fight that. And so I got accepted into the #1 historical Black college and university. I got almost a full ride. And so when I got there, I think my nose was in the air a little bit, like, oh, I'm that girl. I made it. And then not long after, I have an investigator in my email box. And that shook my stuff. And I was like, oh no, 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 no. I didn't get this far. Didn't fight all these generational curses to be this. And so because I knew I had a future and I wanted more for my life, that is what like slapped me into gear. Like literally, I was like punched in the face, like, girl, get it together. And I went through that and I was like, more's out there for you. But I also didn't know because what the research shows when a person goes to jail and they have a criminal record, they tend to go back. And that's by design. Now I have a criminal record, so I couldn't really get a house or apartment. I had to tell why I had this criminal record. So like I can see why people do not have a different future. And so for me, it was, I can't live in this misery. And I was miserable before that, like just all the secrets I was holding on to and the shame, like I was raped and I just held that on. I felt ashamed about that. And I was just like, carrying this load felt heavy. And then I'm seeing some people, and I'm not trying to say their worries were not real, but they're worried about if they're going home for the fall break. I wish that was my worry. And so I was like, well, your worry can be different if you decide. And so going to college with all Black women who some were doing the dang thing, came from money, like did not apply for a scholarship for college. Parents just writing a check. I said, what is this? But it was a nice awakening that things are possible. A different lifestyle is possible. And I think some people get lost into TV and seeing what's possible. I didn't grow up on TV, so I saw people and their stories. And I just knew I wanted differently. I was thirsty and hungry for more. And having that situation really just, it knocked me into gear. I saw what that did to my family and I didn't want that. And so I was just like, you got to do differently. I also had a foster mother who really pushed me in high school to be very professional. And you see me frowning and like not proud of that because as a teenager, you should be having fun. And I didn't have fun as a teenager, but she gave me the skills to learn how to network, to learn how to get myself into rooms that would help me be successful. And I think that's why, no, I don't think, I know that's why I had a criminal record and I was not turned away from jobs because my name carried. Like if I lived in Oregon still and I go into a room, they're going to know Natalie Janine Gates because I worked my tail off for so many years.
There's like all these little sparks flying in my head right now. You believed in yourself. I just, because I really want to like hammer this home for women because the shame part keeps women so stuck. And here you are saying all of these things were my life experience and I'm still here and I'm talking about it, which is a tricky space to be in. But that shining a light on the things that, I mean, criminal record, most people, I know people who things have happened. I've worked with them. They tell me because I have that relationship with them, but they're not sharing it. And they feel so much shame about that. And a lot of times society, they want you to feel that shame about it, but you owning all of you and then sharing it with everybody, it totally strips it of the shame and it empowers so many other women to be able to do the same thing.
I appreciate you saying that about the shame. And what I'm hearing us both say without saying it is the secrets. We believe that we are the only one. I'm the only one that has a criminal record. I'm the only one that's ever been raped. I'm the only one that's ever had food stamps, or I'm the only one, only. And you're not. You're not. Joe Biden keeps coming to mind. I don't care what you believe in politics, but let's just go there for a second. He was shamed because one of his children had an addiction. And he looked us in the camera and said, so many American families know someone with an addiction. And so I say that to say, while you feel like your story is so unique and it's just you, there are people out here who can relate to you. Like the statistics tell us how many people have been sexually violated, which means you're not the only one. And the abuser does that to us, whatever it is, if it's a system such as a criminal record and the prison system, whether it's the person that sexually assaulted you is telling you that you're not worthy, or all these things about the ways in which you should feel shame. And so then we adopt it. And then we allow that to seep into us. And that started becoming our narrative. I'm the only one. Like when I was raped, I remember thinking I was the only one. I remember him saying just all these cruel things and doing these things as if I'm not worthy. as if I was this vulnerable girl he can just take advantage of. And something in me just had enough. And I was like, middle finger up. I'm doing differently. I'm not talking to you. One thing about me, I will cold turkey cut you off. And I cold turkey cut him off. And he was shocked because when people or systems or life continues to tear you down, they don't believe you will step out of it. They think that this will be your narrative. And when you step out and you're like, I'm not taking this anymore. You cannot tell me this has to be a secret. I'm not carrying that shame. Why am I carrying the shame around me having a criminal record for a crime I didn't do? Why am I carrying the shame around me being raped when I didn't do it? I'm not carrying that around. That's not my story to carry. It's not my burden to hide. And so when I started coming out, and I was uncomfortable in the beginning. I will be very transparent about that because I'm telling something that I've held on for so long. And it kept me in bondage for so long too. It changed my sexual life and how I navigated that, if we're going to be transparent and really go there and help women. And so I thought I was the problem. And I thought, oh, now I'm damaged goods, especially as a Christian. Like that's how, if we're going to talk about virginity, losing your virginity, that's how it was gone. And you're a Christian, you're supposed to be a good girl. Oh, that took me to places I never thought I would go within my faith. And I was like, I actually don't have to hold on to this. Like I can talk about it. And when I started talking about it, I started meeting other women who had similar experiences. I was like, what the hell? This is our reality. This cannot be it. We cannot be holding these secrets on for so long because guess who it harms? And so I started talking, and I believe when we talk about our stories, we give other people permission to talk about theirs. And then you see the layers of freedom come off of them. I think about my clients. Like I told you, I help women who feel stuck in the corporate grind. I had a client tell her family that she was sexually violated. And to see her go through my program and have so much anxiety and be crippled by that to so much freedom, I'm like, I would do it again and again. And I would tell my story again and again, because if I can do this for one that I know of, how many other women will be freed just by my story?
Mm-hmm. And you said, I think something really important that you said was, I decided to change the narrative. You decided this, I'm not going to let this keep me here. I'm not going to let this keep me in this shame pattern and this shame cycle. And you did differently. And you said it was uncomfortable. And any sort of change, whether it's that, which is on a really high level of being uncomfortable, or just doing things differently than we've always done, it is uncomfortable. And there's no getting around that. But you said the freedom on the other side of it is huge. It's just huge. Oh, you're wonderful. I'm so, just you saying the one client that you worked with, her life is so much different. All the people that she is with in life, they are changed because she is now free from what was keeping her stuck. And this goes on all levels too. Once you set yourself free from whatever it is that's keeping you down and stuck and not living your best life, you have that freedom, but that freedom like shines from you and it gives other people permission, just like you're doing right now.
Yes, yes. And what I will say is when you're choosing your narrative and you're deciding to do differently, look at that as a positive. And the reason why I say that, because I was going to say, you're going to lose people. And that feels so negative. And you don't really lose people. The people that have served their purpose, it's time for them to go. And I don't know what I'm getting ready to cry for, but here, let's let the tears flow. And sometimes we hold on to relationships and we're like, this is my BFF. And this is my ride or die, or we're going to do life together forever. And sometimes we just outgrow people. And that is so challenging. Like I have a friend I've had since I was a teenager. I didn't know that we would not be here together today. And nothing nasty happened. It's just we both took life in different ways and we're both doing the dang thing. So it's not like, oh, one's better than the other. It's just we outgrew each other. And that is painful. It is painful to lose your friends, your people. And if you see it as, we have served our time, we had a great ride, it is now time for me to invite these people into my life. These people are meeting me in this season of my life. I think it will lighten the mood a little bit. It would let you go forward knowing that who is for you, period. There's nothing you need to change. There's no one you need to become. Who is for you is for you. And another thing is, we got to pick our uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable staying stuck, or you're uncomfortable growing and getting to where you want to be.
Yeah. I think the friendship thing, the loss and change and transformation of adult friendships is definitely, I was really shocked. I was not prepared for that to happen in life. And it's happened now more as, you evolve and get older and grow into new spaces. But the first time it happened, it was weird. And it's definitely not something that is talked about at all. And I remember then reaching out to people being like, what do you do here? Because how do you handle this? But nobody really had an idea of how to handle it. And like you said, it's not necessarily a negative thing. It's sort of like I had a client once say, like, bless and release. We ran our course. It was lovely while it happened. And now it's time to go in our different directions. And that is okay. That's absolutely okay.
And I think part of the pain that comes with the friendship loss or breakup is the history that you two created. Like, I don't know. I'm not married, never been married. I've been in like these little boyfriend-girlfriend relationships before. But your girlfriends, there's a different level of intimacy there that I didn't have in any of my romantic relationships. And so the idea that we have all this history, all these stories, and now they're gone, that to me is what's hurtful, like the pain. And to see that when these relationships end this way, where there's not anything that's like, oh, I can pinpoint what happened, it's just growth. To see us still in each other's inboxes and supporting each other from like a distant relationship is helpful. And then like when you just lose people because it's just like not healthy, I mean, that's painful too. Like I think about where I am today and how many people I don't talk to that I was close to, but life just, I can't do it. There's a point in your life where when you get healthy, and I mean truly healthy, drama makes you sick. And so this is no shade to anyone, but if that's their story and where they are in life, I can no longer do it. And it's so interesting we're having this conversation because on my Facebook stories, it came up about how I used to be a drama queen. Oh, baby. After high school, sat at the bar table and I gossip about the entire day. And that's where I was in my season of life because that's all I knew. And also this memory shared how I just don't sit around and talk about folks. I got better and bigger things to do. And so I just want people to know that it's okay. It's painful. I hear you. I see you. I feel you. I've been in your shoes. And to know that joy comes in the morning. You keep going one foot in front of the other and you're going to see how good life can be.
Ooh. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm dancing here. You guys can't see it, but I am hands in the air, like dancing here. Because people, they want to stop because it's uncomfortable. But yes, joy comes in the morning. One foot in front of the other, you keep going. You will get there. You will get there where you're supposed to be. 100%. Okay. Tell us, so that's how you have arrived here. Tell us about here and the work that you do with women and the kinds of women you work with and how they find you, all the things about it.
Yeah. In this season, I believe I am as great of a coach as I am because I spend so much time caring for myself. We have been taught to be work slaves, to grind, work hard, grinding all my life. Like that's not my story. I am not ascribing to that. And I did for years. So I think that's why I'm as great and as transformational of a coach as I am, because I have spent so much time caring for myself. And I love getting women who are currently where I've been, because I get to tell them what that joy in the morning looks like. I get to show them, right? And then I have former clients' testimonials that also helps them know that this is possible. But I get women who are just like, I work so hard and I don't like my job. I just don't like my job. And these women not only don't like their job, they're not happy in life. Like relationships are not going well. They're dragged all over the place for their children, trying to do it all, but doing not a lot, right? Because you're just so stressed. And so we come into this program my private coaching program. And what I love about my program is the first half is all about you as an individual. I am called to free women, called to do that. And the only way I can do that is if I get inside of who you are. And that's what I do the first half. Every client has said by the time that they had the third session, this was worth it. I will pay you double. And to me, it's like, hold on, that's the third session, girl. We got like 8 more. What do you mean? And it's just because they get a sense of who they are and what they've been through and where they want to go. And then we start talking about how you get a job. It is a disservice that men go to the golf course and make deals and not teaching women how we make our deals. And what happened was applied to 150 jobs, no callback, no anything. And I'm like, I'm educated. I got some heavy hitters on my resume. Why aren't you calling me back? Like, do you know who I am? And I was like, clearly they don't. So I was like, I got to change this up. Something's not working well for me. And I had told myself they need to know my name before I apply. And so I would make sure the company knew my name, either by some of my network calling them or me asking for an informational interview. And for job 151, I did that and landed the job. And I was like, I'm teaching everybody I know this secret. Everybody. It's no longer a secret. And it's sad because it's not creating this even playing field, but the rules are already broken. There's no equalness in any of these rules. So we have to find what works for us. And so I'm like, girl, they go to the golf course. I'm going to nobody's golf course. But what I will do is call you and ask for an informational interview. And so I teach them that and they land their jobs. Like I tell you, if you're not invited to an interview, you don't apply. I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. So when women come to you, what's happening in their lives that they're like, okay, it's time? Because it's one thing to know that you are burned out. It's another thing to then take action. So what's happening there?
They've been burnt out and stuck for too long. Too long. It's like every woman that purchases the program says I was tired of being stuck. Like I'm sick and tired. That's what it was. And I don't know how to explain this. I truly think this is just a gift that I have, is that when I talk to them, and I'm a cheerleader, like I am going to cheer for you. And I think that comes out when we have a conversation. They're like, okay, you think you can really do this? I'm like, I don't think I know. Like, this is not a think thing. Like, this is a calling, a passion. I'm very serious about the work I do. So I know. And when they're like, okay, I can't do this any longer. I don't like my job. I'm not happy in my personal life. I'm crying. I'm in a toxic workplace. Like all these things created a woman who's no longer happy. Not only she's not happy with the world, she's not happy with herself. And so by then she's like, I'm at rock bottom. Something has to give. And if this is the way, I'll do it. And that's where they come. Like they're just, and I've been in those shoes. Like, yeah, this not working for me. Like what is the key to getting me out of this? And this is what I love about coaching programs, and I've been a part of quite a few, is that they're going to expedite your process. They have been where you're trying to go. They've been where you are, and they got some rules and some tools that's going to get you there so much quicker. And so that's why I love about the clients I attract. I want go-getters. Like if you are on the fence, like, and need some persuasion, because I'm not persuading nobody to do anything. Like it needs to be in you and to know that this coach is going to take me further. Like I'm ready for the next step in my life. And I think that is so beautiful when anyone talks to a coach, just understanding who they are, which by the time someone gets on a call to purchase your program, they have been stalking you, maybe silently. So they already have an idea. And there's this internal feeling of it's time. She hit that button. I'm ready. Oh my gosh, she's talking directly to me. No, I've never had a conversation with them, but like she's talking directly to me. Oh, it's time. And that's where they come to me at. Like, I'm desperate for change.
Mm-hmm. You know what I would like to figure out, because when you said they're like, kind of, you didn't say the breaking point, but that's essentially where they are. There are sometimes years upon years of, and I'm going to use the word miserable life, because usually that's how they're miserable. And I would like to collapse that time, because you don't have to live this way. But we have this idea that suffering is part of the process, that we have to suffer, we have to grind, we have to do all these things. It has to be miserable and uncomfortable. And in the negative light, that is so false. You do not have to be miserable.
Yes. And if that's the only narrative you know, it's so hard to know differently. Like when people who, if we're going to use negative and positive just for the sake of this conversation, no one is all negative, no one is all positive. But if your life has been only negativity and misery and struggle, and that's all you know, when you see someone positive, you think they're a fraud. And how do I know that? Because I was that girl. And how do I know that? Because I am a very positive person. I'm like, and people tell me, I didn't think you're real. I I have heard that more in the last 2 months than I've ever heard in my life. And I kind of got curious after a while. I was like, what do you mean by that? Like, you're so positive, you're so happy, and now I'm working with you and you're like this every week. Like, I didn't think it was real. And so it's us trusting that it's possible and getting around these people who make you uncomfortable. When I started my freedom journey, like truly knowing that's what I was doing, I was uncomfortable because I was around these people that I was like, what are you talking about? Like, really? I've never experienced this. Like the person that didn't have to apply for a scholarship for college or worried about how I'm going to get home for, it was fall break, which fall break was like a long weekend. And they're like, am I going to drive? Am I going to fly? Which one do I want to do? And it was like, I'm glad that, life is peaceful for you and you have joy. Like, I want to know more about that. And I would hang in those spaces and I would learn. Like, I'm a person that's going to look, listen, and learn. And so I really want women who see someone that has so much joy, maybe to be quiet a little bit because you don't want your negativity or how you naturally talk to turn them off, but get into these spaces and listen, look, and learn, and take what applies to you and leave the rest. And watch how your life changed just by being in those spaces. We have to get out of our bubble because our bubble keeps us in whatever we're in. And if your bubble works for you, stay in your bubble. But you should always be uncomfortable in life. That's how you grow. Like, I'm uncomfortable now in life. Like, I'm like you said, me running. So when I first started, I was like, baby, I'm knocking on the Lord's door. Like, what's going on? I can't breathe. But I keep going. I'm getting better. Like, I ran for 55 minutes non-straight. I cannot believe that. And it's like, thank you. The more you expand your knowledge in your life, the better it becomes. Like, me being uncomfortable running, that's not a big deal. I've been through a lot. I'm like, okay, I can go on this journey. Like, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to survive. And I think little moments of seeing happiness, peace, thriving will keep you going forward. And like you said, we're going to be uncomfortable. I think about, I'm on this journey of like, I'm going to be a multimillionaire. Child, I ain't never seen $1 million, but that's none of my business. I'm going to get there. Is that uncomfortable? Yes, but you know what I do every day? I journal about this multimillionaire life. I journal about how I will feel, what that looks like. I read books about being a millionaire. And I'm still uncomfortable because I'm still learning. I don't have $1 million yet, but it's helping me know that it's possible. That's why repetition is so important because that's going to determine who you are in this moment and what you have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that repetition and consistency, because if you decide you're going to do something and only, kind of do it half-assed, then it's not going to happen. You're going to get out what you put in. Yeah, you're a very positive person. I'm a very negative person. Just innately, it is so hard for me to be positive. Like, I'm funny, positive, a little sarcastic, but I have to work. I talk about this, I think, all the time. I work so hard to be positive. I put so much effort and energy into leveling up and changing my mindset. And if I go any amount of time without focused energy on having a positive way, it's not necessarily positive. And not really even optimistic, just like not complaining and negative, because I was a big complainer way back in the day. It slides back. And it hit me hard, I think a couple of months ago. And I was like, oh shit, how did I get here? I got here because I wasn't paying attention. I was asleep at the wheel and not paying attention. And so, like you said, journaling, I do stuff every day. I have notes here. Someone is preparing an opportunity for you. I have all these things where I'm like, I have to put all of these things in my head. Otherwise, my head is going to be like, let me tell you all the negative things and let your anxiety just plant in there.
Yep. Well, this may surprise you. I used to be the queen of negative Nancy. And I used to hide that under, oh, I'm a realist. I would say, oh, I'm a realist. I'm not negative. No, I was negative. Like, You talking about the worst situation that would ever happen? Yeah, I'm going to go there. And what really helped me become how I am today is because I moved to Texas all by myself. No family, no friends, my dog and me. And all I knew was my dog and me. All I had was my dog and me. And I stress that because I didn't have community. And I don't believe isolation is good for the body or the mind. And I mean, research shows that too. So I spent a lot of time alone. And in that time, I moved 4 times in 4 months. I had 2 slumlords. I lived in a extended stay, which was just, by then I was already broken. I was just mentally over it. And moving is a high stressor naturally for us. Before that, I was negative and I had these negative thoughts, and a semi truck almost slammed me off the road. And just in me, I knew to squirt over, but I was on a freeway and I didn't even think to look behind me. But I'm so thankful that this moment, no one was there. So I was able to not have the semi truck hit me, but like the semi truck was like maybe inches away from me. Like it was so close, and we're going 70, 80 miles an hour. My point is, I'm still here to tell this story. And so when I moved into the hotel, the first day I just cried. The second day I cried. The third day I cried. And while I'm doing this, I'm also hosting a confidence challenge for my business. Crying, hosting this. It's just like, wow. And I remember telling myself, you were almost gone a few days ago. You're still here. You get to decide what you want to do. What are you going to decide in this moment? And it was literally put my big girl panties on. I said, I'm not crying about this situation. I'm going to find hope. And in that moment, I just started telling myself positive things. Like, everything's going to work out for you. Everything has always worked out for you. You might have cried, but everything has always worked out for you. Bills have always been paid. You've eaten always. Like, things are going to just work out. And I would just tell myself that, and I would get outside and I would walk and I would pray and I would just eat good food and like sleep well and listen to good music. And that, just keep doing that. And I kept doing that because what you pay attention to becomes your lifestyle, becomes who you are. And so me kept doing that. I was like, oh, things are really working out. Like, I got my dream apartment. Never knew this would be my dream apartment because I didn't want to live in no high rise with all these people and all these amenities. I love it. And I just kept going. And I was like, okay, that worked out really well for you. We're going to keep this attitude. And so I do it all the time. Now, do I slip? I'm human, of course. But I'm like, who are you talking to? That's what I tell myself. Who are you talking to? And really what helped is The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. It talks about if you complain, I'm going to paraphrase this. I can't remember exactly what he said. But when you complain, just know that you lost your million and you want to slice your throat, which that's a bit intense. I acknowledge that. But that intensity lets you know, get it together. And so that has helped me a lot. And writing every day. And I don't watch TV. And I hardly ever listen to music because it is super hard to find very positive music. And I just believe if I listen to these songs, my subconscious mind is starting to hang on to the lyrics, and consciously I start believing I got to struggle. And so I truly limit my music time, and I limit anything that could alter how I feel or who I am. So to make sure that I'm positive.
Yeah. Good for you. I mean, that's next level, but I say be weird. I'm not saying that you're weird, but you have to do things that is next level and weird, like not listening to music. That's a big deal. And you're saying it is so important for me to cultivate the kind of mind that I want to achieve, that I'm going to say no to these outside forces so that I can do that.
Yeah. Like I watch a dating reality TV show. And I watched this last season and it was just like, what in the heavens is going on? And I had to tell myself, this is not your reality. This is not your reality. And I still watched it, but I think it's the amount of work you have to do to override things. And so I'm not willing to put all my energy in overriding. So I'm like, you know what? You ain't missing anything.
All right. So if you had one kind of either piece of advice or one thing that you would like to leave with the listeners today, what is that?
That's a great question. Based on our conversation, I would say if I can give our listeners anything, it would be to take yourself out on a date weekly. By yourself, just you. And if you're anything like me when I first started this journey, I didn't know what I liked. I could only name 3 things again and again and again. And so if that's you, I can already see you like overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. Like, oh my God, my anxiety. Let's breathe into this. You're going to be okay. And tell yourself, people are out here ready to help me. And so I would love for you to go out to eat by yourself. I would love for you to take a walk by yourself. I would love for you to go to Target by yourself. Just take yourself out on the date and do something for yourself. Because the more you deposit in yourself, your confidence in who you are is going to change. I think one of the best compliments someone can give me is I'm glowing. I'm not pregnant. I don't have a man. So you tell me I'm glowing, that is something I did all by myself with my helpers. But I just want you to date yourself, to know that you are the most beautiful person who walks this planet. When you walk into the room, heads turn and you are gorgeous. You're badass. Date yourself. That's how you get there.
Oh, I have never, I mean, I've heard of doing that, but never phrased to date yourself. Can you share a little bit of the dates that you take yourself on?
Yeah, some of my dates are me walking around I live near a lake, so I walk around the lake. One date that I absolutely love is making a nice dinner for myself, sitting down at my dining room table, which I absolutely love my dining room table. And I'll light a candle and look at my flowers and I'll say, wow, look how much you love yourself. You're so gorgeous. Wow, you're so gorgeous. Like, this is such a great meal. Like, and I like will tell myself, you're feeding your healthy body and things like that. A bubble bath with a candle and a book, or just sitting there. Another way I date myself. Like, I'm dating myself constantly. And part of it is because I want to be so in love with myself that whoever comes into my life sees this is bringing the same type of energy. And that's about friendships as well. Bring the same type of energy. So that it's just a love fest. And I believe we attract who we are. And so if you love yourself, and take yourself out on days like making nice meals, going out to eat, like going to a very nice restaurant, dressing up and getting exactly what you want. How can you not feel important? How can you not feel sexy? I get dressed every day. And now let me rephrase this because I want people to think I'm in heels every day. But I love the yoga tights with the crop top and your tennis shoes and your fanny pack and your sunglasses. You can't tell me that's not sexy. And so that's also a way that I dress up when I go on my walks. Like, I'm always looking a way that makes me feel great about myself. And I'm like, okay, I can walk for an hour because I look good and life is just so grand. And just whatever you do, make it fun. Make it where it's you showing up as your best self. Like, you are the best thing that walks this earth. I need you to know that. I don't care the narrative that anyone told you, because I wasn't told that I was beautiful. I didn't know I was beautiful until I was 18 years old. That's the first time I heard it. So I'm telling you, whatever the narrative was is no longer your narrative today. And you're dating yourself because you're so gorgeous, you're intelligent, you're kind, you're worthy, you're enough. And there's nothing you need to do to be worthy or enough. Period.
Natalie Janine, thank you so much for sharing who you are, and how can people get in touch with you and find out more about you and get more of that positive energy from you?
Yes, I am literally everywhere but X, I think it's called, /Twitter, as Natalie Janine Gates. So Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, come find me. And please, if you find me, please slide into my DMs. I love building community. I love supporting you and building relationships. So don't be afraid. I'm not someone that's like, you cannot talk to. I am a girl's girl, everyone's cheerleader. So I would love to get to know you.
Wonderful.
And how our podcast served you this episode.
Ooh, yes. Please take a screenshot,
Yes.
tag her, and share that. Awesome.
And leave Alecia a definitely good review on how much this episode and other episodes have blessed your life. Because the work that you're doing is so amazing. Like, to hear you call women a badass, like, and you don't give you're a badass because it's like, you are a badass. And I think that's so important for us to hear. First of all, people don't like that word. A lot of people are like, why would you say that? Because I am. And you're saying the same thing I just said. You are worthy and enough just because you are. You are a badass just because you exist. So I really appreciate the work you're doing. I love how you do your interviews. Like, I've listened to quite a few of them, which I need to leave a review myself, right? But I just appreciate how you show up for us and letting us know that just because who you are, you're a badass. And so thank you so much for the work you're doing and you sharing who you are.
Oh, you are welcome. And thank you. Yeah. You said it earlier, but giving people the opportunity to hear other stories that they can see themselves in, that is freedom. And that is so freeing and empowering. And it gives them that little nudge or seed or something that says, hey, you can do this too.
Yes. Thank you so much. I'm glad we're in this work together.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Spirit of a Badass is a Lit Path Studios podcast and is produced by Jamie Gale and Alecia Jacobson. Music by Shane Ivers. We'll be back with another inspiring interview. Until then, keep your spirits high and your energy badass.